Konnichiwa everyone, welcome to the Weerds podcast where we talk everything weebish and nerdish. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Today's podcast, Exploring the Twilight Realm, covers the game Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. My favorite game. Well, at least one of them.
One of them. One of the many Zelda games.
Basically all the Zelda games.
I mean...
What?
Yeah.
Cancelled by Nintendo.
I mean... Milady.
So, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Its initial release date was, in North America, on the Wii, it was released on November 19th, 2006. And on the GameCube, it was released on December 11th of 2006. So it actually came out on the Wii first, and then the GameCube. But this is just in America. In North America.
Yeah, it's a little weird, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole Breath of the Wild situation.
Yeah.
Where they released it with the Switch, but they also came out with the Wii U version.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, the thing, because this is also when, the Wii was getting more popular.
Right.
So the thing is, like, let's release it for a Wii for those who are getting the Wii. And then those who don't have enough money yet and just have a GameCube, release it for them.
That's fair. Because the GameCube was still...
It was still relevant.
Yeah. And then the Wii came out, and then you could just play GameCube games there.
Yeah. And then in Japan, the Wii... It was released on the Wii and GameCube at the same time on December 2nd of 2006. And then it was released on the Wii again in 2011... under the Nintendo Selects label. What is that?
What is what?
The Nintendo Selects label?
Nintendo Selects label?
Yeah.
Well, going by context clues with Nintendo Selects, I would imagine it's just like a select number. Yeah, I think it's in the same concept.
It's just a marketing stunt, right?
Yeah, I think it's in the same concept of maybe a little bit of a stretch here. Might be the same as the 3D Mario All-Stars, where it's just like specific Nintendo selects these games, put in a bundle.
Yeah, I thought I figured I'd check because you're more into the Nintendo scene.
I've honestly never heard of Nintendo Selects. That's just what I infer because of it's like the bundle. It's like the what is it? Humble packs on Steam. Where they just have a bunch of like indie games as one. I imagine it's the same concept just with Nintendo. That's why I compared.
Here, I got it here.
Okay.
So Nintendo Selects was formerly known as Player's Choice.
That sounds more familiar.
So it's just basically the games that are sold the best and have sold really well and are very popular, and they just re-release them like as updated graphics or something.
Mario 3D All-Stars.
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought it was.
That's all Nintendo Selects is.
It's Nintendo.
And then it released for the 4th time as a high-definition remaster for the Wii U.
Oh, that's right.
In March 2016.
I remember that.
So this game has been released. See, that shows how popular the game is, because they had the need to re-release the game multiple times.
So where's our 5th rendition for the Switch?
I'm waiting, man. I'm still waiting.
Literally everyone's waiting.
We all want it, and we're begging for it, and Nintendo's like, lol, nope.
What do y'all want? Breath of the Wild 2? Or Twilight Princess for the Switch?
Yes.
Yes.
Honestly, we want all the Legend of Zelda games on the Switch as their own games, not any of this buy our expansion pack family thing for $50 a year thing. No, we don't want that.
Breath of the Ocarina Twilight Mask.
No.
Okay.
Anyways, so the synopsis of the game is, in this reincarnation of Link, by the way, side note, everyone keeps forgetting that Link reincarnates. He's not the same person. I'll explain why that bothers me later on when we do our interesting facts.
Okay.
Just keep that in mind. But this reincarnation Link is tasked to prevent a parallel dimension known as the Twilight Realm from engulfing Hyrule and its inhabitants. And when normal humans are touched by the Twilight Realm, they just become spirits floating in the air. He starts his journey after children from his village are kidnapped by Bulbins. By the way, I did not know that's what they were called. I just called them goblins.
How do they pronounce it?
They're Bulbins.
I see it. Bulbins. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And in his pursuit of them, he is pulled into the Twilight Realm, but instead of becoming a spirit like any normal human being, he becomes a wolf and is joined by an imp named Midna. I'm still waiting for the wolf to come back. Everybody wants Wolf Link to come back. But also, interesting enough, there's a manga adaptation written by Akira Himekawa, and that name is actually a pen name of 2 female mangaka. By the way, for those of you who don't know, manga writers, the name to describe them is mangaka. Mangaka.
Mangaka. Yeah. Okay.
That just means manga writers.
Makes sense.
And they've been working together since 1991, and has written all the other manga adaptations for the Legend of Zelda series. And if you haven't checked it out, read the mangas. They're really good. Link talks in them.
I have some of the manga. I just haven't read them yet.
You don't read.
They're still in a bag somewhere. And when I say somewhere, at this point, I honestly don't know where they are. I need to go find them.
You need to get them out of the bag and put them on a shelf.
I don't have a shelf. Oh, I mean, technically I did build one. I'm sorry, I play video games for a living.
So do I. And I love building furniture, and you know this.
So why don't you build me one?
Pay me.
Alright, I'll...
Honestly, you buy it, give me $50, I'll...
How many rupees is it?
500,000.
All I got are the ones that cost 1. Don't those go ahead. I'll make comments later. Go ahead.
So the manga was released in February of 2016 and is currently ongoing. This is actually longer than all the other adaptations they wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And it follows the game's basic plot, but they do take creative liberties, especially with Link's character. There's a lot more character development for Link.
I mean, he talks, first of all.
Yeah, he talks. Yeah. And you also don't have to play the games to enjoy the series. So if you don't like playing video games for whatever reason and just like reading manga, I still suggest picking these books up because they are very entertaining. So the developers of the game was published by Nintendo.
Really?
No way, right?
A Nintendo game published by Nintendo?
Yeah, right.
Oof.
The director of the game was Eiji Aonuma. Its artist was Yusuke Nakano and Satoru Takizawa. And its writers were Aya Kyogoku, Takayuki Ikaku, Mitsurio, sorry, I need water, Mitsuhiro, and Eiji Aonuma, which was the same as the director, which I thought was interesting that the director also helped write the story for the series. Which shows that they were more involved in the series. So, experience with the game.
I didn't get past the tutorial because
this is what I'm mad about.
I didn't get past the tutorial. Let me defend myself. I didn't get past the tutorial because I played on the Wii.
Okay.
And
it's okay now.
Like, look, the motion sensing. Yeah, the motion sensing for like the Switch, right?
Yeah.
I guess kind of the 3DS, where you have to like tilt the whole console, and do whatever you need to do with it. Yeah. Those are better now, but the Wii was a milestone for Nintendo because of the motion sensing. So it wasn't the best.
The issue is that the game wasn't developed for motion sensing.
That too, because the one tutorial part I didn't get past was like you had the. I'm glad they fixed it, at least for Skyward Sword for the Switch. Mm-hmm. That one actually runs beautifully.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind using the motion sensor for this Switch.
Yeah, I actually wanted to play it on docked instead of on handheld. But one of the moves in Twilight Princess was you have to like swipe up, like, and again this is the Wii, so you have to be very precise in any direction. You have to swipe up, and then do some other random, like crazy hand movement.
Yeah.
I did that. The up worked, but when I went to do the second half of the movement, it either didn't register, or it hit, and it never and it still didn't register.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. I legit tried for an hour. I reset my game 5 different times, and it just couldn't work. So I just stopped.
So I played it on the GameCube first, and my initial, because this was the first game that I played really by myself. Because remember in the last Legend of Zelda podcast, I talked about how I played Ocarina of Time, and I was like 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then, big scary boss comes in the street and I throw it at my brother. It's like, you beat this guy. But Twilight Princess is the first Zelda game that I played all the way through by myself. No help, no walkthrough, no nothing. So it was a really enjoyable game, and it really actually helped fuel my critical thinking skills. So what would you give your... Well, you can't really have a personal review.
Yes, I can. I love the demo I played. I'm gonna give it 4 fails out of 5 rights.
We're not at the ratings yet.
Same thing.
It's not.
What was your question?
I didn't have a question.
All right.
I said you can't have a personal review because you didn't play the game.
I mean, yeah, I can. I can personally review the mechanics. I mean, I can't imagine...
you just did. You didn't like it.
I didn't like it to that one part.
That's all you played, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying is, you can't wait to play the GameCube version.
Exactly. If I can find it, and I have the money for it. Because that's part of the group of, like, popular Nintendo games. So those are very pricey.
Yeah.
So it just depends on if I can find it and I can afford it. So what's your
my personal
review
is, if you really like the Zelda games where they have a storyline where you follow, this is a great game. Because while there is an open world, kinda, it's not an open world game. The open world's kind of empty. It's just if you want to go grind fighting monsters or getting rupees. Even then, the blotches of grass to get the rupees is kind of far apart from each other. So, but if you really like following a story and like learning, it's more character driven.
Right.
And the weapons are really cool. I love the double claw shot. Spoilers.
Not a clue. The only thing I know, does he even have a sword at the start?
Yeah. So at the start of the game, you have the wooden sword that you get for your birthday from the village swordsman.
Right.
And then then you have that whole debacle with the children getting kidnapped, and you become a wolf, and then you go back. You're still a wolf, and you go back to the village as a wolf, and you go steal the sword and shield that the village was going to present to the royal family, because when you turn back into a human, Minna says you're going to need a sword and shield to defend yourself and fight monsters. So you go steal the sword and shield, and then you go to the spring to talk to the spirit there, and after you help him, he transfers you back into human.
I think I just need to play the game.
Yes, you do. You need to play the game.
I'm trying.
Another thing I would say that's really fun is when you get the weapon, the spinner. It's basically just those top things. It's basically that.
Wait, they just give Link a Beyblade?
Basically, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you get to ride a Beyblade.
Oh, you ride it?
Yeah,
I thought it was a weapon.
No, you ride it.
That's... Honestly, I need to play this game.
You need to play this game.
That's so cool. As a human or a wolf?
As a human.
I'll still play it.
And also, the one criticism I have about the equipment that you use is the Zora armor, which, it makes it so you can dive and, breathe underwater.
Right.
The one thing I did not realize when I first played the game was it's very weak to fire and ice attacks. So if you hit by a fire or ice attack, you get double damage, which I didn't realize. So a what did I call them?
Boblin?
Yeah, the Bulbins.
Mm-hmm.
They shot me with a fire arrow, and all of a sudden I lost 6 hearts instead of 3. I was like, what? Because the Zora armor, it's really cool to look at. You know, it's very unwise to have it anywhere else other than the water temple.
Isn't it also just basically fish armor?
Yeah.
So it makes sense it'd be weak to fire. Because I'm thinking you get it in a place full of water. Ice would make sense for as a weakness, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, why is it fire? And then I'm like, oh, it came from fish people.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a lot.
I say, just leave it alone.
10 out of 10 would not fish again.
There is also an armor where it's the gold armor, where I think it takes 1 rupee away for every second you're wearing it.
What?
Because it's basically you have to recharge the armor with rupees, so every second it takes away a rupee until you have none left. Serves no purpose, and it's not a good thing to wear during combat unless
I was gonna say, do the rupees that looks like powered up or anything, or is it just
no? It's a really powerful armor while it's powered on,
but it just needs money.
But it just needs money.
Oh, I mean, if you're grinding for rupees, then it should be fine.
So it's really only great if you're going into like fighting against Zant or Ganondorf, and then you have max rupees. Then it's good to use, but really you don't really need it. It's not a necessity. It's just a cool function in the game.
It's like when they added was it negative rupees or whatever it's called?
The Rupors.
Yeah, the Rupors. It's like why? It's like I understand why, but like why?
Because the producers were bored. And it's like, hey, dude, check out what I made.
Get this man a raise.
But Rupor raise.
Get this man a Rupor raise. I'm cutting your salary down by $5 a day. $5 an hour.
It's sad that's actually that's not far off how much the animators get paid.
Oh.
In like anime and games and stuff. They don't get paid a lot. Favorite gameplay / feature. I want to tell you everybody's favorite gameplay / feature.
Yeah, please, you start, because I have nothing but the wooden sword. So
the wolf link.
Exactly, that's my favorite thing.
That's everybody's favorite.
That's my favorite thing. That's all I can say is my favorite. I can't back up my claim.
I will say that this game actually has a lot of fun mini games you can do. Like there's one where there's a guy at the bottom of the link that has a cannon, and he shoots you up, and you play this the Cuckoo game where you grab a Cuckoo and you travel down to reach a target while hitting these giant rupees, and you try to get to the bottom, whichever highest platform you could get to win a prize.
Right.
What's funny about that is while in that little game area, if you keep hitting a Cuckoo with your sword, eventually you can take control of one of the Cuckoos. It's a really fun glitch and gameplay that everybody loves to do. I do it like 10 times in a row. It's really fun to do.
Let's be fair. Cuckoos, though.
It's the only Zelda games where you can attack a Cuckoo and not get attacked for it.
Lame, but that's cool.
It is cool.
It reminds me of the first time I actually played a Zelda game all the way through. It was Ocarina of Time for the 3DS.
Yeah.
When I first saw my Cuckoo, my first thought was, finally, I get to experience the pain. And yes, I did go straight for the Cuckoos as soon as I saw them.
Everyone always does. Like, at this point, it's tradition. You have to do it.
Right? I mean, it's gotten to the point where people have defeated Breath of the Wild Cuckoos. So, tradition.
Tradition.
That's all I have to say is tradition.
Another great gameplay / feature that everybody else, for some reason, I've seen a lot of people hate, but I like doing is when you when the four sacred beasts, when they lost their tears of light, you have to go. You have to go, and they're trapped in these like little bugs, and there's like 15 bugs in whatever area you need to be in, and as a wolf, you have to go attack them and get the tears of light back. For some reason, a lot of people hate doing that. I find it enjoyable.
So it's a collectathon to unlock the boss.
Yeah, I find it enjoyable.
Isn't that kind of just a Zelda thing though, to be like an adventure slash dungeon slash collectible kind of thing? So what are you arguing? Why are they arguing?
Because people.
Because
people are annoying.
That's like saying Pokemon is annoying for being Pokemon. It's like what do you want exactly?
People do that though.
They do. But still, my point stands. What do you want?
They want everything they can't have.
Apparently, there's always that one guy or girl that says, "I don't like this. I want this."
And then you give them that, and they're like, "I don't want this."
Exactly.
The favorite part of the story, what I like about the story, is you traveling in between the Twilight and the real world. It creates, tension, and it gets you to understand, because the whole point of the story is understanding the other side. So it helps you do that and understand, what is going on in the Twilight. I almost said the Twilight Zone. The Twilight Realm. Honestly, it kind of is the Twilight Zone.
It kind of reminds me of a feature. I don't remember how old it is. I think it's Link's. It was like one of the first Legend of Zelda games.
You're talking about Link's Awakening, where he travels between worlds?
Yeah, he has like a mirror.
Yeah, so that I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I'm pretty sure that realm in that game and the Twilight Realm is the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't finish that game, one, because I think I got lost after I got the mirror.
Honestly, it's really easy to get lost in the old Zelda games.
I got up to that point, and then I got the mirror, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? I can travel between worlds that do nothing for me. But that's the kind of that vibe I got with when you explained that about Twilight Princess. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's the same place.
It's kind of hard not to imagine.
Yeah.
There's a possibility.
Alright, so give your rating out. What was your rating out of 5 that you said?
I don't remember.
Well, let's give it a new one.
Okay. I'll give it 5. No. 10. 10 Wii remotes to 5 Mindas.
Alright. Interesting choices.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it 10,000 Wolf Links.
Okay.
To 500,000 Master Swords.
Why does one person need so many Master Swords?
Because apparently Ganondorf keeps taking over.
There's 5,000 different forms of Link. They all need Master Sword.
Honestly, I hope later down the line they create a game where you can interact with past Links and stuff. Well, it kind of does in this game. Tying into the interesting fact I got.
Okay, are we going straight to it? Let's do it.
Straight to it.
All right.
Hero Shade, the skeleton that teaches Link sword skills in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's confirmed by Nintendo that it is actually the Hero of Time from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And he actually died regretting not passing down his skills to the next generation. This is from the book Nintendo published, Hyrule Historia. I think it was called. It was one of the 3 books that they published.
My brain does not comprehend, but okay.
So this is the part where I told you to remember, keep this in mind, that people do not understand there are reincarnations of Link.
Right.
They are not the same person. They're not regenerations like in Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
It is a because I saw this article about this one person. They're like, so Link teaches himself how to do these sword skills and stuff, which is just confusing. I'm like, no, it's not himself. They're 2 different reincarnations. Same spirit, different people.
Right.
It's like Avatar, The Last Airbender. Korra and Aang are two completely separate people. They both have the Avatar spirit, but they are two different reincarnations.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone understands. But yeah, the hero, the skeleton that Link is trained by, is the hero of time from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which I find awesome. Because I like it when this is why I really like this game, is because they're actually tying in the other games to this one, not just Nintendo releasing a convoluted timeline.
So you said this was officially confirmed?
This is officially confirmed.
Okay. So no one can argue.
No one can argue. Like,
they do, but no one can argue.
Let me try, but okay, guess what? It's official.
Nintendo said it. It's official. So I have an interesting fact. Maybe not as expansive or as interesting as yours. Detailed. Probably not as exciting as yours. But Twilight Princess was the final first-party game for the GameCube.
So actually, I find that interesting.
I find it interesting. I don't think I find it as interesting as the last fact, but
it's so, I mean, it's because you don't think about it, because you know it was right when the GameCube ended and the Wii gained more popularity.
Yeah.
You think, oh, it was the last game. It was the end of an era. And then subsequently kept getting republished with each reincarnation.
And then again, we're just waiting for the Switch iteration.
So, Sheik from Ocarina of Time, Zelda's alter ego, was actually originally going to appear in the game, but they ultimately decided to cut it from the game.
What do you mean by appear? Wasn't Sheik kind of in the game? Like, wasn't it?
So there was Zelda, but, she didn't have an alter ego. The Sheik, where she, travels outside the castle, interacts with Link, and gives him information and stuff.
Yeah.
She was originally slated to appear as Sheik, but I guess they decided, it was unneeded, which I agree with. Zelda didn't really need that, especially since they had Midna. Oh, by the way, Midna is the Twilight Princess, not Zelda. A lot of people get that confused too. They're like, oh, Zelda's the Twilight Princess, because Midna called her the Twilight Princess in the game, but that's kind of like a cop-out to, confuse everybody. But it was obvious Midna is the Twilight Princess. She's the Princess of Twilight. There's a lot of misinformation that people get about this game.
Then how do you explain Smash Bros?
What about Smash Bros?
Is Sheik a different character? Or is Zelda changing the Sheik with...
So, in Ocarina of Time, adult Zelda had the alter ego Sheik. Sheik is Zelda, but she dresses up and acts like a different person. It's disguised. She's a ninja. Ninja. What's confusing you?
Zelda. That's what's confusing. The whole Zelda timeline.
No, I'm not going to say that joke.
Good.
I had a bad joke that I'll probably get tons of hate for.
You know what's not confusing to me, though?
What?
I think you know what I'm going to ask you.
You want to talk about time travel?
Do you?
No.
Okay.
We'll talk about time travel when we do Ocarina of Time. Alright?
Yay! Last interesting fact of ever. Not
this
ever.
Podcast.
Same thing. Fire, I'm assuming it's fire.
Or could pronounced be fear.
Or fear. I'm saying fire because fire is fire.
It makes more sense, to be honest.
With Fire, the character who lives at the bottom of Lake Hylia and offers canon rights. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I'd pay 5 rupees for that. Is it a he or she? He. Fire has a bullet bill from the all popular game Pokemon on his right sleeve. From Mario. He's getting mad at me again.
You're the one who's going to piss off a lot of fans.
that's what I like about Nintendo, is they'll have references and just subtle little details from other games than Nintendo and their other Nintendo games.
Nintendo was doing the multiverse way before Marvel.
They do it really subtly though.
Yeah.
But
And that's what
some
makes it
of
fun.
some of it's subtle.
It's Easter eggs, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a fun little tidbit. Arigato everyone for watching to the end. We hope you enjoyed our episode. If you enjoyed our content, remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated. Alright, we look forward to making contact. Sayonara. Say it.
Bye.